It happened a few years ago, the last Halloween I ever celebrated. We lived in a big two-story house right next to a thick, endless forest. My favorite place was the basement. It was basically my little kingdom. I had a bar, a couch, a huge TV, and those small half windows where you could still see the garden outside, even though the room was underground. But to get there, you had to walk through this long, narrow hallway. The light never worked. You just walk through pitch black silence until you reach the basement door. Even during the day, it felt like something was watching from behind. Halloween night, my parents weren't home. I invited 3 friends over, 2 guys and a girl. Around 11 p.m., we were eating my mom's cookies and watching Scream. When it ended, we started Paranormal Activity. 30 seconds into the movie, I paused it. The motion sensor light in the backyard suddenly turned on. The entire basement glowed white. We laughed at first, but the creepy atmosphere was gone. I waited until the light went off, then hit play again. Another 30 seconds later, it turned on again. I got annoyed. There was no wind, no movement, no animals outside. Just the forest. 2 of my friends came with me to check. We stepped outside into the cold, empty backyard. Nothing. No noise, just stillness. We went back down and started talking instead of watching movies. After a while, everyone got tired and fell asleep. Everyone except me. My eyes kept drifting toward that window. And right on cue, the backyard light flicked on again. At first, I thought it was the neighbor's kids messing with us. But there were no kids nearby. Our house was too far into the woods, and no one ever came this deep at night. I went outside one more time. Nothing. That night, I tried to sleep, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something out there wasn't supposed to be. The next evening was Halloween. We dressed up and went trick-or-treating. My last time ever doing it. On the way back, my friend suddenly screamed. She said someone threw a rock at her head. When I turned around, I saw him, a man in a dirty clown costume, standing at the end of the street. The mask was cracked and covered in red stains. We shouted at him to get lost. He didn't move. He just stood there watching. We hurried back home. Later that night, it was just me and the same friend from before. The boys had gone home. We decided to finish Paranormal Activity. Halfway through, the TV flickered, and the power went out. Total darkness. At that exact second, I heard a pop, like a light bulb exploding. I tried to act calm for my friend's sake, but my hands were shaking. The generator hadn't kicked in yet, so I told her to stay while I checked the backyard. When I opened the sliding door, the air felt wrong. Too quiet. No wind, no crickets, just silence. Then I heard it, a twig snapping. Someone was out there. My friend panicked and bolted back inside. I turned to follow her, and that's when I saw him, the same clown, standing near the trees. We locked eyes for maybe 2 seconds. Then he started running toward us. I slammed the door shut and sprinted downstairs to the basement with my friend. We crouched behind the bar, trying not to breathe. Then, footsteps, soft, slow, right above us. And then, the basement door creaked open. He was there. I could hear him breathing. Just as he stepped closer, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Police sirens echoing outside. The clown turned and ran. They searched the house, the woods, everything. But he was gone. No one ever found him. Every Halloween since then. I can't help but glance toward the woods. And sometimes, I swear, I see that same motion light flicker on again. It all began 10 years ago. I was 25, and for the first time, I felt too old to join the trick-or-treating fun. I had recently moved out of my family home and was living with 3 friends in a small, quiet house. They were out enjoying a party that night, leaving me home alone to catch up on some work. That year's Halloween was classic horror movie weather. The wind howled fiercely and rain hammered the roof. It was dreary and uneventful. The first time I saw him was around 10:30 p.m. I opened the door for a group of 3 kids, all wearing typical, store-bought, low-effort costumes. Standing slightly behind them was a 4th child. He looked no older than 8, but this boy was an outlier. His clothes were ragged and torn, not a costume. His feet were bare, scraped, and covered in what looked like dried blood. His skin was unnaturally pale, with a mottled, bruised quality that gave him a decaying appearance. As I looked at him, I realized his friends didn't seem to notice his condition, or even his presence. They laughed and walked away, completely oblivious. The boy just stood there staring at me. He raised a sickly, somewhat swollen right hand, silently asking for candy. I was startled back to my senses and quickly slammed the door shut. He didn't react to the sudden slam or the biting cold. I screamed at him through the door, "Get off my lawn!" But he remained motionless. I had the eerie feeling he was still there all night. Later, peeking through the peephole, I saw him standing at the end of the front garden, his face aimed right at my door. By morning, he was gone. Gradually, my brain filed the sighting away as a bizarre, unsettling Halloween anomaly, until the next October 31st. That year, fewer children came by. Halloween seemed to be fading in popularity in our neighborhood. I settled onto my couch with a hot drink, ready for a quiet night. At exactly 10:30 p.m., I woke up with a chilling shiver, as if something had deliberately roused me from sleep. Dazed, I went to the kitchen for water. I glanced out the back window, and I saw the sight that haunts me to this day: the child from last year. His face was pressed flat against the kitchen window glass. His eyes were wide, vacant, and slightly swollen, fixed in an expressionless stare. He was wearing the exact same tattered clothes and had the same decayed makeup, only it looked slightly more faded, more rotted. I involuntarily stumbled backward, hitting my head on the cupboard. He made no attempt to break in. He simply stood there and watched. Terrified, I crawled back to bed. He was gone by the following morning, just like before. I tried to convince myself it was an elaborate, recurring prank. This has been going on for 10 years. A few years ago, I watched him from my bedroom window until 2 a.m. He just stood in the backyard staring. I thought about calling the police multiple times, but since he never showed any sign of aggression, I didn't know how they could help. What truly disturbs me is this: I am now 35 years old. That child is still 8. He hasn't aged a single day in a decade. And I know this year, just like every other, at 10:30 p.m. I will wake up and he will be waiting. It was the first year I turned 18, and I decided to throw a big Halloween party. I only invited people I knew and strictly asked my friends not to bring strangers, as per my parents' firm rule against foreign people entering the house. They were away that weekend, which was perfect timing for me. I invited around 50 people, and about 40 showed up. The house was packed. The ground floor and part of the garden were in use, and everyone seemed to be having a great time with the music, food, and drinks. Everyone who came gave me a greeting, and most were wearing fun costumes, ranging from very elaborate to very simple. As the night progressed, a close friend approached me and asked who the man in the skeleton costume was. I couldn't recall seeing anyone in that kind of costume. I went inside and asked my friends in the kitchen if they had seen someone in a skeleton costume, and it turned out they had. I started looking around and saw him coming down the stairs. When I asked him who he was, he said he came at a friend's invitation and named someone I didn't know. I didn't have such a friend, and I knew no one by that name. I asked him to take off his mask, but he didn't listen and quickly ran out of the house. I immediately went upstairs, checked the rooms one by one for anything missing. There was nothing. I closed the doors and went back downstairs. I asked a few friends if they had invited such a person, but no one knew the man. The party continued until midnight. After the party, some close friends stayed to help clean up. Apart from that strange situation, everything went smoothly, and we all had fun. After cleaning, one friend stayed over and settled on the living room couch. I changed in my room and went to the bathroom, then joined my friend in the living room. We had some drinks and watched funny challenge videos on YouTube. My 14-year-old sister was home. She had stayed in her room during the whole party and had gone to sleep afterward. My friend and I heard noises coming from upstairs, and at first we thought we had woken my sister, who might be walking in the corridor. But something was strange. Her room was on the other side. The sounds were coming from the other end of the hall. I decided to go up and check. I went to my sister's room and knocked. No sound. I slowly opened the door and peeked in. She was asleep in her bed. So where did those sounds come from? I went to my parents' room. The door was slightly ajar, but I was 100% sure I had closed it a few hours ago. It was dark inside. Without turning on the lights, I glanced through the crack in the door and saw him in the far corner of the room. The skeleton man. I knew what I saw. I was sure it wasn't an illusion. I closed the door without letting him know I had seen him. I hurried downstairs and told my friend to call the police immediately. I went back upstairs, woke my sister, and we all quietly went downstairs and outside the house. We went to the neighbor's house next door, explained what happened, and waited for the police to arrive. Unfortunately, by the time the police came, the man had escaped through my parents' bedroom window, which was now open. When we went inside, my parents' dressing room closet was also open, and my father's safe inside it was gone. This meant the intruder knew I was hosting a party, knew the safe's location, and knew my parents weren't home. He was an adult. We never found out who he was, and that was the first and last party I ever held in that house. So do you think the man in the skeleton mask was actually the uninvited friend who gave him the safe's location? Share your theories about this story and your own creepiest Halloween moments with me in the comments below. If you want more real and intense horror stories like this to keep coming, show your support by hitting the like button and join our family by subscribing. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next nightmare.